All right. So this is the book talk with Noel.
Noel. Ja, that's right.
Yeah, and what's your names?
Du kan höra mig,
Yeah.
Yeah, they can have
Yeah, we can hear you. What's your names?
No, just go. We have 2 Eriks here.
Yeah, well,
yes,
it's me and both the Eriks.
Yeah.
All right. So the first question, I can. Shall I read it? Shall I read it?
Yeah, read.
All right. How did the relationships between Mariam and Laila evolve throughout the novel? Well, the relationship between Mariam and Laila, it obviously undergoes this evolution throughout the novel, where they don't like each other at all, and they have this like a battle between each other.
What do you mean by a battle? Can you explain further?
Well, they try to be better than the other, almost, and they fight for Rashid's attention.
Yeah, because can I talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when Laila first arrives at Rashid's home, Mariam feels very threatened and jealous. Like she sees Laila as an intrusion in her life because she recently got her marriage solved, they're working on the problems, and then Laila arrives and it creates this big problem, as you said, Noel.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she maybe thinks that Laila will replace her as a wife for Rashid.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think, as both of you said, initially, the relationship is marked by tension and competition. When Laila first arrives to the Rashid and Mariam's house, but I think we did mention that over time they develop a deeper bond, based on mutual understanding and empathy, and their shared experience of suffering together.
Yeah, they.
In conclusion, I think you could say the relationship evolves from rivalry to solidarity as they support each other through hardships.
Yeah, they as you said, initially there was this strong tension between them, but they then started to bond over their abuse of.
Over their stories and overall experiences in their life.
Yeah, they understand that they're in the same situation.
Yeah,
both of them.
It's mentioned in the book they have a very similar upbringing, not exactly because Mariam was she had a really bad childhood.
Yeah, Mariam was it was more conservative, while Laila, she went to school, had an education.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think the one big similarity that they bonded over is that they both lost their parents. Mariam did lose her father later on in the book, but they still had a lot of trauma from that, and that is a big thing they bonded over.
Yeah, and their motherhood too,
Yeah, absolutely.
Laila became a mother at a young age, and Mariam, she never got a chance to become a mother, but she still developed these maternal instincts.
And also, another thing that I would like to add is another thing they bonded over was Rashid's cruelty, because he was very cruel to both of the women.
Yeah.
And later on, they realized that they had a very similar situation. They were in the same boat, So.
Yeah. I think, as both of you guys mentioned, Noel, you mentioned motherhood as a pivotal factor to their relationship. I also think that, from Mariam's perspective, I think she felt this bond was really important for them since she had never experienced any true connection to anyone before in her life, and I think that really improved their empathy for each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Should we?
Yeah, we can move on to the next question.
I think we've said everything.
Yeah, I think we covered the most important
things. Read the question, or
yeah, you can read it.
Do you want to read it, or
you can do it? I can do the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and I will read it.
My guy.
Yeah, my guy. Okay. The question follows. Trace the character development of Mariam and Laila. How do they change over the course of the novel, and what influences their growth? Who undergoes the most significant changes? How are the women similar? How are they different? Steiner, you can begin if you would like.
Sure. I think this is kind of related to the stuff we discussed earlier. But like at the start, Miriam, she's like characterized by low self-esteem. Like she's shaped on years of rejection and mistreatment from her family and society. But like, however, as the story progresses, like her inner thoughts begins to emerge as she navigates like through hardships, like including an abusive marriage and like the loss of loved ones, like her mother. Like that was really traumatic for her. But like, I think through all these challenges, she begins to assert herself and find like a surplus of purpose and belonging. Like especially like we mentioned earlier with her like improved relationship with Lila and stuff. Like I think that really like evolved her character. Like I feel like she became more like confident in herself. And she was around someone that liked her and like that she felt safe with.
And I honestly believe that Lila's character development is the most interesting one, because like it takes a really big turn. And as we discussed earlier, her upbringing was really good. Like she was educated, she was full of hope for the future. She had a good view on life, you know. And then the big change arrives because of the war. You know, she loses her parents, of course. It's really sad overall. And then she learns to adapt to her new life, and she becomes more resourceful, you know.
Yeah,
you can talk.
Yeah, it's interesting because I would actually argue that Mariam experienced the most radical transformation.
That's really interesting.
Because, you know, she evolves from this innocent, submissive girl into a courageous woman who sacrifices herself for, well, the ones she loves. She's ready to give her life so Lila and her son can live their life.
Absolutely. And I also believe that because Lila was so alone when she arrived to Rashid, you know, begin her new life, she was really alone. And but then through her bond with Mariam, she rediscovers the strength that she had before the big change in her life, and she really learns the power of sisterhood.
Erik, would you say that like Lila, like, do you think it's like interesting? I think, as she said earlier, she had to adapt. And you think it's like more interesting since she was like so young and she lost everyone at the same time, while like Mariam still had people around her.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Like, do you think Lila's like, do you think it was more interesting? Like her character development was more interesting because like she had to adapt quicker than Mariam. Is that why?
I think it's more interesting because like I didn't really expect like what's gonna happen in her life, because like in the start it seemed very good for her. Like as I said, she had a really good. It seemed like she had a really promising future and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that the loss of her parents was really like spontaneous in the book, and I couldn't really expect it. And that is why I think it's more interesting.
Yeah, I get Lila.
It takes a bigger turn, because in Mariam's, like if we talk about Mariam, like it was always like really bad for her, you know.
Yeah, I understand. You know, Lila had her future like laid up for her. She knew what she wanted to do, but Mariam didn't really ever have a clear future or anything, and it was her life was always pretty hard.
Yeah, and I have a question to both of you.
Okay.
Like, which of the women do you think changes more throughout the book? Like, in a sense, like.
Yeah, as I said before, you know, I think that Mariam changes the most. You know, before she was, this obedient daughter. but she learns to be more. What's the word? She can handle herself. She. Oh.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
I understand you completely. No.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
I'm just gonna say it short. Like in conclusion, I think it's like Lila that goes through the biggest change because I think like she's so young and then like all of a sudden she becomes a mother, and I feel like that like forces you to change your personality a lot.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think it's very debatable, of course, but I think Mariam goes through the biggest character development though, as Noel said. Like it's really a radical transformation, if you will, because she starts with a really like broken sense of self-love, and then later in the book she finds love, which like you couldn't predict that at the beginning of the book.
No,
she also finds courage and the will to fight, which is like very unlike her. If according to me.
I agree with you. I think we need to do the next question.
Yeah, we can move on.
The quote. I'll read it now. Let Erik discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the quote is. Actually, I can't see. I can only see what the quote is, but I don't know what the actual question is. But the quote is, "What a man does in his home is his own business."
Yeah, I can.
You want to begin with the question, or?
Yeah, the actual question is like, in what context is this quote uttered? What is meant by the quote? Yeah,
that is
basically that.
Yeah, what is meant by it?
Who hasn't talked from the beginning, like after a question?
Walter hasn't.
I haven't.
Okay, then let's.
Yeah, absolutely. I can begin. I think the most obvious thing with this quote is it's really excusing a man's violence, which was it was very common during the time period that the book was written in, and I think this statement really allows the cycle of abuse to continue. Women are trapped with no recourse, and it's really it's an excuse for Rashid in this case to keep on doing his violent stuff.
Yeah, he tries to justify his abuse his abusive behavior towards Mariam.
I agree.
And you can.
You can go.
Yeah, he unveils these his patriarchal beliefs, really, with the quote where he thinks that men should rule the society and women should just obey and shouldn't have a voice.
I feel like as you said, as both of you guys said, like his beliefs are like the main core to like his actions. But I think it's also like society around him that gave him this like image on how to treat women and like this awful perspective. I think it's like as we said, society around him, and that contributes to this like oppressive environment that Mariam and Lila endure during Rashid's control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah. And as you said, this quote really highlights the injustice between men and women during this time. It's a big reminder of the injustice faced by women in our society that condones this violence. And I don't think there's so much more to explain about it. I think we said it all. But
yeah,
I think. Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I think this has big consequences for Mariam and Lila, and I think that they just kind of internalize this behavior and they think it's normal. So they their own.
Hey, excuse me, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat what you said?
Yeah. No, I think they just I think Mariam and Lila don't know anything better, so I think they just kind of internalize that behavior that they endure, and I think that they just they don't realize that what harm is they think it's their own fault, and they think they deserve that they're supposed to be punished based on what they know and what they experience, because they don't know any better.
Yeah.
What was your point? I don't understand.
No, like the effect they get from like society's view on how to treat women. Like they don't, like they think it's normal the way they're treated.
Yeah,
I don't
you
really
like,
agree, though.
like,
Like I don't think it's normal. Like I can see what you mean, but like they still like question like how we act towards them and stuff. Like I don't know.
Yeah, they question it, but I think it's like it's much more common that stuff like that happens there than in any other place.
Yeah, in a more general view, you mean?
Yeah, in a more general view, I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I agree with you.
Summarize
I
that?
agree with you. I don't know what to say really more to that.
No.
To add.
I think we summarized it.
Yeah,
Good.
we've talked now for 16 minutes, so
Yeah.
all right, good talk.
That's
Do you
good.
have any last thoughts you want to add?
No.
No, it's good.
Okay.
All right.
I